I wanted everyone to accept me, to love me, to... No, why did I care? If you value yourself, you have to set up boundaries. But sometimes there are internal factors that may prevent us from achieving this. These could stem from insecurities, from the way you're raised, from your environment. So today we're going to discuss some of my red flags that I had to fix and that I'm also currently fixing to ensure that I have the best boundaries ever. Red flags are traits that can keep you from becoming your best self. So we've heard about red flags in dating and friendships, but today we're talking about my red flags when it comes to boundaries. And my first red flag that I have been doing really good at limiting is compromising all the time. I don't know if y'all have seen the quote or phrase where it's like, I hate a bitch who doesn't stand for anything. This is where this stems from. You have to stand for something. If you have values, which all of us do, we have either personal values, religious values, emotional values, mental values, all the values. We have values that are ingrained within us and then values that are taught through growth, through life. If you have values, you have something that you're standing for. But to even just make it more simple, because it doesn't even have to be something as grandiose as values when it comes to compromising. When it comes to like making plans with your friends, say it's girls' night and you guys are trying to figure out what restaurant you want to go to, and you have a restaurant in mind, but you are compromising because you don't want to shake the boat or you don't want to make things difficult. You just compromise and you just say, I'm good with whatever, or you don't bring up your suggestion and you just go with the first place that's mentioned. When you know you have something that you want to do, you have something that you can contribute to the group or to your friendship or to your relationship, but you are just so used to making sure that things are at ease, things are peaceful, and you don't want to cause any difficulties. When in reality, there's always some kind of conflict. And even with something as simple as choosing a place, that could feel like a huge conflict for some people. You should have a preference and you should feel comfortable voicing that opinion. For me, I recognize that I would compromise so much in my friendships, a lot of situations, honestly, not just friendships. And I recognize that I would do it out of fear of creating conflict, creating difficulties, like I mentioned. And I just wanted friendships, I just wanted things to be easy going, smooth sailing, when in reality, like, that is never the case in any kind of interpersonal relationship that you have with somebody. There's always gonna be differences. There's always gonna be something you want to do, something someone else wants to do. It's really important to make sure that you voice your opinion when you have an opinion, when you have something that you're interested in, instead of just keeping quiet because you don't want to feel like the odd one out or feel like you're making things difficult. You should voice your opinion. However, when it comes to values, there are certain values that you shouldn't compromise on. If you have conflicting personal values with someone and it's really causing you anguish, you need to really assess that. I know for me, like, there are certain values that I truly cannot compromise on, and if someone that I'm close with doesn't agree with those values, there is a mental internal battle that is always happening with me, and I just can't be around that. So making sure you're not compromising all the time because you want things to be easy. No, voice your opinion. And as it relates to your boundaries, your values are not being protected. You're allowing certain situations into your life that you know that you don't agree with, or that you know make you feel uncomfortable, or that you know you don't want to do. And how is that keeping your boundaries strong? No. So you have to be so clear in your values and making sure that you are voicing your opinions, making sure you're not biting your tongue in those situations. Number 2 is clear communication. That is such a huge red flag when you cannot speak and communicate your thoughts clearly or communicate your beliefs clearly, and you're making things confusing when you just do not know how to like piece the words together in your head. That is definitely a red flag that I still have it a little, I still have it. Like, sometimes I speak in circles and then like talking around a subject instead of being direct. Sometimes I would do that. I would say I am definitely more of a direct communicator now, and it's a lot more aligned with my personality. And I think a lot of times, like, the lack of clarity in communication can stem from you not being comfortable in your personality or not being comfortable with certain parts of yourself. I know for me, that was definitely a huge factor when I was younger, like in high school, college. I just didn't feel comfortable being so direct and straightforward, even though that's like a key part of my personality. I love when people are straightforward with me. I love when I can just say something in the most clear, concise way as possible. But because sometimes when you speak in a straightforward or direct manner, some people don't like that. They feel like you're being aggressive, you're being pointed. They don't like that. They prefer a bit of like passive communication. They prefer to talk in circles. They prefer, and I see this a lot in like the workplace settings. You'll definitely see this a lot where people are not direct sometimes, especially women. That's a whole topic for another conversation. Becoming more comfortable in your personality, that can help you in turn speak more clearly and communicate your thoughts more succinctly. It's really great to know what you want to say and to speak from the heart. And sometimes you just need to take a step back and take a breather and just pause and speak slowly as well. Another thing with communication is biting my tongue. I am really working on not biting my tongue all the time because there are times when things just have to be said, okay? And it's better to say the thing in the moment rather than waiting and overthinking the situation and overthinking what you're gonna say and then analysis paralysis and then now you're stressed. Sometimes you just gotta not bite the tongue and release the words. And when you are a clear communicator, that is how you can clearly communicate your boundaries and ensure that people understand and hear you the first time when you have set a boundary around a certain situation. For example, if you are someone who really cares about your time, you very much value your time, but you have maybe friends or colleagues or family members who their sense of time is very different from how you view it. You are someone who, when you make a reservation for a restaurant, you are there on time. And also, a lot of times when you go to restaurants, like the whole party has to be there, so that's a whole nother thing. However, maybe, like I said, you have people who are close to you who aren't the same way. You need to make sure you're communicating that boundary when you're setting up events with those people so that they are aware the first time when you say, hey, it's my birthday, or hey, it's a girls' night and I'm setting up a reservation and we have to be here at this time. And I would really appreciate if you're on time. It helps ease my mind. It helps ease my anxieties. It's really important to make sure you are clearly communicating this so that people are aware. And if they fail to appreciate the boundary, they fail to accept the boundary, then that is another conversation that you two should have. It's really great and really important that you communicate your boundaries the first time so that people are aware. Because if they're not aware, then how are they going to know that you are the kind of person who is more prompt? You know what I mean? A lack of self-love is a huge red flag that I can say I have overcome. A little applause for the girlies. A lack of self-love, hello, oh my God. It's just like not a good look. And I'm saying this from experience. I can tell now that I'm way more confident in myself and truly a lot more in love with myself than I was a few years ago. I walk a certain way. I have a more of a lifted head. I just present myself in a way that shows that I'm so self-assured in who I am. Whereas when you have that lack of self-love, especially when it comes to boundaries, setting boundaries, it is so easy for people to walk all over you. It is so easy for people to cross into your boundaries. It is so easy for people to make you question who you are. And a lack of self-love really attracts bad characters into your life because they can sense that you don't have any self-esteem, you have very low self-esteem. They can take advantage of you and control you and ruin your boundaries. That just has like a series of cascading negative effects. So learning to love yourself, learning to accept who you are and be so confident in the way that you are that no one can say anything to shake you is the greenest flag ever that I think everybody deserves to have in their life. And in turn, when you have that self-love, it is so much easier to create boundaries that you can reinforce and maintain. Seeking external validation, absolutely not doing that ever again. Hello, I don't know why I was in that mindset for so long where I just really wanted so many people to accept me. I wanted everyone to accept me, to love me, to keep me in their circles, blah, 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 blah. No, why did I care? The focus on caring about someone else's perception of you is such a waste of time and the biggest red flag. It shows a lack of self-love, a lack of self-confidence, and an obsession with other people when in reality, we should not be obsessed with other people. We should not be obsessed with some random person's judgment on us if it doesn't impact our money, it doesn't impact our livelihood, our health, our well-being. If it doesn't impact us, literally like physically impact us, why do you care? You know what I mean? External validation out the door. That is so old news, such a red flag. And when you're setting up your boundaries and you're always seeking external validation, oh girl, what boundaries? Those boundaries are never going to exist because you don't care enough about yourself. You care more about what people think of you. So you're going to allow those people to do whatever they want to you because you are valuing their judgment of you, their perception of you. So make sure you are not seeking external validation so that you can keep your boundaries strong. And the last red flag that I'm still working on. We're honest over here. Lack of consistency. So inconsistent. Yeah, we are definitely working on this, and I can say I've been doing pretty good these past few weeks, which another applause for me. For the past few weeks, I've been really working hard on my consistency as it relates to things that I really value and really love. Prioritizing consistency in that manner. It's hard though. Like when you have a lot of things happening in your life, it's quite difficult. Consistency is sexy, okay? And it is such a sign of growth, of maturity. When you are inconsistent, that shows to people they can do whatever they want with you. That shows to people that they can get away with things because you let them get away with it the first time. You cannot let people get away with something that bothers you the first time because you've already shown that you're fine with them doing it. And so when they do it a second time, they're gonna be like, wait, what do you mean? I did this before and you allowed it. Some people may not accept your change of mind, which you need to leave those people anyways. It's better always to be consistent the first time so that you don't allow certain negative behaviors or traits to become a pattern in your circle to mess up your vibe. And when you're inconsistent in yourself, you're not committing to what you've set forth. And that feels very distasteful and dishonest to yourself because you made a commitment, but you're not following through on it. Your boundaries are all in haphazard mess because you're allowing certain behaviors in, but then you're not. Like it's very like what's happening here. So just make sure you're consistent all the time as it relates to your boundaries and to valuing yourself so that you don't let anyone play you. Those were my red flags that I have either overcome or that I am still overcoming. We're human, okay? We all have red flags somewhere in our lives, but what's important is that you are aware and you address them and you work to solve them because we can only grow and level up from here. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys in my next one.